It looks like Funko's changing the way they're doing their LE or limited edition drops on their website, and it has a lot of people upset. Okay guys, so we have a little bit of an interesting topic today. So late last night, or I guess early this morning around kind of 2, 3 a.m., news was going around that Funko changed what they were doing with limited edition drops. They're doing a raffle system now versus kind of like a free-for-all if you had the points. Now, to my knowledge, I think this is going to be only specifically applied to the lower piece counts that required points before. I don't think this will involve any of the higher LE piece count ones that usually take longer to sell out anyways. So here's how this whole thing's gonna work. They sent out the email this morning, even though we kind of learned about it way earlier in the morning. But it says a new way to secure the drop. Limited edition just leveled up. Fans can now enter a randomized drawing for a guaranteed purchase access on select high demand drops. So like I said, probably won't include the higher piece count ones. Absolutely no fan reward membership is needed. Each account can claim one free entry, plus fan rewards members can redeem points for a bonus entry to boost their odds. So what that means basically is that you actually use up 50 of your own account points to give yourself an additional entry. And there's some issues with that as well, and I'll go over that in a second. So I'm assuming they did this to kind of ease the pain of website issues during checkout, even if you had the points, because normally you would have to spend anywhere like 2,000 points and up to get early access to these lower piece count drops. So for example, with Cyclops or the Terrifier Pops, you would have to spend 2,000 of your fan reward of points that you have to spend money on the Funko shop to obtain. Those points would then get you early access to the sale. However, when you have like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people who have the same amount of points are all attacking the website at the same time to try to get this exclusive and redeem it, it causes a lot of issues. So a lot of people were really upset about that. So this is kind of their fix for that, I suppose. But like I said, this does have a few downsides that we're gonna go over. So since I was doing this video anyways talking about it, I went ahead and went on the website and I entered in the, normal entry as well as I did the 50 points for the additional entry. And this is what pops up. Congrats, you're in. You now have 2 entries for a chance to purchase the Cyclops comic cover. And then about 1 or 2 minutes later, I got an email stating this: you just redeemed 50 points for an entry to our limited edition drawing. Thank you for entering. Keep a watchful eye on your inbox. You will be contacted via email to see if you are selected for limited edition access. So obviously it seems kind of cut and dry. You just enter and then you hope to get a chance at, winning a slot to buy this rare limited exclusive pop. However, like I said, this does come with a couple different problems, even though they're actively trying to fix current problems. Like, for example, the fact that you don't need a fan rewards membership to get a free entry. That means anyone and everyone who has a bot or, runs bots can make 100, 1,000, 2,000 accounts and just enter all at once on the Funko shop. That's a free entry right there. Not to mention, you could also go on 5, 10 different accounts if you're manually doing it, and you can get free points. I don't know if you know this, guys, but you don't just have to buy stuff on the Funko shop to get free points. They also give you free points, which I actively just randomly do. So for example, you can enter in this little survey or question answer, who is the best animal sidekick of all time? You get 30 points for that. You click on this, you check out their article about K-pop Demon Hunter Loungefly, you get 10 points. Who's your favorite on-couple screen? You get 30 points. You do all those on a new account, you have 50 points to get a bonus entry. And people can just do that all day. So that's where the problem comes into, where bots can just make 1 million accounts and even get free points on the Funko shop same day. And I think that's the biggest issue that people have with this whole system, other than other little issues we'll go over. But yeah, it's a pretty concerning issue because it makes a lot of people feel like Funko's catering to bots in this situation when, that was the whole issue to begin with a general release like this, where you just drop it on the Funko shop and bots eat up the stock. In this case, bots are just eating up slots. Since it's a random generator as to who actually, wins this, when bots are outnumbering actual, regular people entries, most likely a bot's going to get picked, is people's point. Now, over in Funko's terms and conditions, though, they did mention something specific to try to counteract the bots. So they said supplemental processes to manage high volumes of participants, avoid abuse, and ensure limited edition offering fairness, including mitigation of automated bots. Funko may also test and deploy proprietary processes to augment certain random selections, limited edition offerings, where selection will remain random, but likelihood of success will be weighted based on factors determined at Funko Funko's sole discretion, which includes, but not limited to, prior launch entries and prior wins and losses and site engagement. So the whole wins and losses is kind of one of those things where you enter any raffle, you know, they might limit you because you won something in the past and they want to give somebody else a shot. I understand that portion. However, what we mainly want to focus on here is site engagement. That's not something they've mentioned before, to my knowledge, unless I just don't remember. I've been doing this a lot of years. However, site engagement, that's a really important 2 words that they put in this, meaning that most likely any new accounts, if they determine that they haven't engaged in the site long enough, like if they made it same day, for example, they might disclude those. They didn't say it was a hard confirmation, unfortunately, they just said they may. However, it's better than them saying nothing, so I really like that they included in this. So hopefully that means they will put a hard limit on how many days you actually had to have had an account to be able to enter this raffle and determine that you're not a bot. Now granted, I understand there's issues with that too, because not everybody has a Funko Shop account. Meaning if you make one specifically for this drop because you want the free entry, then you run into the issue where the system may decide that you're a bot when you're a real person just trying to get a fair shot at it. So obviously that also comes with its downsides, but it's mainly a system in place for bots, which is good. They're specifically mentioning that they're putting this system in place. Will it work 100%? No idea until the drop happens. Obviously, we'll see how many people are actively saying, hey, I was able to get in, but there's only 750 pieces. Remember that. There's only 750 pieces. So there's only so much to go around in general. But this is why it's important to read things ahead of time before fully freaking out. I can fully understand what it looks like. And I agree to a certain extent that, hey, this will be botted like crazy. I don't know if this is actually going to be a fair shot, but at least they are actively trying to do something to combat bots. And I hope they're actually sticking to what they're saying. Again, I don't know if it's 100%, but this is what they're stating, so hopefully this is the case. Now, some other issues I noticed people commenting was the fact that it's not necessarily fair to people who spent a ton of money on the Funko Shop to accumulate these points for these drops, just for a raffle to be thrown in their face. I feel like they should have given some kind of notice for future drops, or started this like a little bit later so people could use their points on specific drops that they wanted to. In my opinion, it is a little bit of a spit in the face from Funko to their loyal customers who specifically shopped with them, because I've seen a lot of people, for example, say, hey, I want to wait for the Funko Shop to get Chalice or Hot Topics exclusives so I can get the points from the Funko Shop so I can use them on limited edition drops like this, or, you know, coupons or whatever. And if you don't realize, that was the whole purpose of this new fan reward system. It was to increase direct-to-consumer sales specifically at the Funko Shop and steal customers away from everywhere else that they were shopping. So I think it's pretty interesting that they did it as a raffle with only a 50-point entry, because like I said, you can go on their free section and get points all day. You can get a few hundred points every single month that way. So I really feel there could have been a better rollout than this, other than the day before, like us finding out that, hey, they're completely changing this drop, because a lot of people were expecting to wake up today, use their points, get this exclusive and be done with this. Now they're stuck with a raffle and all of these points they can't use on these drops anymore. So really, I do see it from everybody's perspective here. I think a lot of people are making really great points on this whole thing. I really do think it's a spit in the face for anybody who spent a lot of money on the Funko Shop to accumulate these points, and now these points are useless to them unless they want to use it on other giveaways, discounts, and all that. And then a lot of people are upset about the whole thing being able to be botted now and feeling like Funko is catering specifically to bots with this, where it does look like that. Of course, when you read the fine print, they're actively trying to counteract the bots. So there's a lot going on with this drop. The best thing I can say is let's see how these first 2 drops go, you know? If it goes well, cool. Maybe this is something they can continue using in the future, or maybe they'll switch back to just using the fan rewards points, and then maybe spending a little bit more money on the website to be able to handle the traffic of these LE drops. One other concern I wanted to bring up, and I'm actually gonna cut into this video a little bit later if necessary, is that given they're doing a raffle online, I really hope they don't drop these exclusives in store, because I don't know if it would necessarily be fair to drop however many in Funko Hollywood, and then everybody else has to use their points on a raffle online, and everybody else has to rely on a lottery system online to be able to get these, versus if you live in Hollywood, you can automatically just walk in and get it. That also feels like one of those situations where they're just specifically catering to the West Coast and not everywhere else in the United States, because it was already a big issue where you had to spend points that you spent a lot of money to obtain on the Funko shop online to get these exclusives, and then they were just dropping them in Funko Hollywood with no point requirement. That was already an ongoing issue, so if they drop them in store today, that's gonna make a lot more people mad. And listen, that's not a knock to all my Funko Hollywood goers. I know Funko's huge over there, obviously, so they have their store. It makes sense that they would drop certain pieces in their store. It's just for lower piece counts like these, they gotta try to make it at least fair as possible, or they're just gonna keep getting backlash. I think that's everything I have to say on this drop today. It's definitely interesting, and I'm curious to see where this goes. So that's why I don't want to pass 100% judgment on the situation. Like, this could work out, it could not work out. What I found also interesting was they have already an EQL system in place that they were using for the Jumbotron drops. I don't know why they didn't just use that for this, you know? And if you don't know what an EQL system is, it's basically a secure third-party raffle-based commerce platform designed to ensure fair, bot-free, and orderly high-demand product launches. It prevents site crashes and fraud, typically used for limited edition sneaker, collectibles, and apparel. So as you know, as I just stated, Funko is using this for their Jumbotron, those $250, you know, higher quality collectible figures they were doing. They were using them for those. However, obviously those aren't as sought after as some of these other pop pieces, but still, that's most likely a better system than what they're doing currently. So I don't know why they didn't just use that technology versus their own on their website. Anyways though, guys, let me know down below what you guys think about this entire new situation and change to the whole LE program. Are you for this? Are you against this? Let me know why. I am gonna go ahead and end up the video here though by saying a big shout out to all the awesome Patreon supporters of the channel. You guys are amazing for supporting myself and the channel. If you guys are interested in what, check out the Patreon. The link is down below. We have a Patreon-only Discord where we share a lot of information, news, restocks, updates, links, and more. And finally, make sure to follow me on all my social medias at Skittlerampage over on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and my Facebook page, so you can stay up to date. All right, love you guys. See you guys next one. See you guys later. Bye.